The isolated Snake River Valley, cradled by ancient gnarled peaks, had long existed in a state of tranquil detachment. Its inhabitants, a resilient and self-sufficient people, relied on the land's bounty and their own ingenuity. Among them was Alara, a young herbalist whose hands, though delicate, possessed an almost mystical knowledge of the valley's flora. Her compassion for her community was boundless. Each root and leaf she gathered a testament to her unwavering dedication. Yet, even in this haven, shadows were beginning to lengthen. Her younger brother Finn lay restless on his cot, his small body racked by a mysterious illness that defied Alara's every remedy. His cough, a dry, persistent rasp, echoed the growing unease in her heart. Old man Tiber, the village elder, his eyes clouded with the wisdom of many seasons, spoke in hushed tones of a creeping sickness from the outside world, a plague that devoured settlements whole. He described it as a malevolent tide, slowly but inexorably approaching their valley. Alara's desperation deepened with each passing day. She spent countless hours poring over ancient scrolls, her fingers tracing faded script, searching for any forgotten cure, any lost knowledge that might save Finn. The village, usually bustling with life, had grown quiet, the laughter of children replaced by anxious whispers. Then, one evening, a distant, ominous bell tolled, its mournful sound carrying on the wind, a chilling harbinger of impending danger. Reports soon followed, carried by terrified travelers, detailing a deadly plague reaching neighboring settlements, leaving devastation in its wake. The villagers' growing fear was palpable, their isolation now a fragile shield against an unseen enemy. In a dusty corner of her grandmother's old workshop, Alara stumbled upon an ancient, forgotten text. Its brittle pages detailed a legendary plague-resistant plant, a botanical marvel rumored to grow only in the treacherous Serpent's Maw Mountains, a place whispered about with reverence and dread. The village council, grim-faced and fearful, debated sending a messenger for aid or medicine, but no one dared to venture into the infected lands. The silence in the room was heavy with unspoken dread, every man and woman picturing the horrors that awaited outside their valley's protective embrace. Driven by Finn's worsening condition, his breath growing shallower with each passing hour, Alara's resolve hardened. She volunteered to be the messenger. Old man Tiber, his gaze piercing, warned her of the plague runner legend, those who carried hope, but also the potential to carry the very disease they sought to conquer. A tense farewell with Finn followed, his small hand pressing a carved wooden bird into her palm, a simple, precious token of his love and trust. Alara prepared for her perilous journey, gathering meager supplies and summoning every ounce of her courage. The village gates, once a symbol of welcome, now creaked shut behind her, sealing her fate, severing her from the only home she had ever known. Her first encounter with the plague's reach came swiftly. A desolate, abandoned farmstead, its fields overgrown, its silence a chilling testament to the unseen enemy. Inside, she found a lone survivor, weak and delirious, whispering fragmented warnings of betrayal and a powerful hidden faction controlling the flow of medicine. Alara's resolve hardened, understanding now the true scope of her mission, far beyond a simple cure. A sudden, violent storm broke, adding another layer of danger to her path. She sought shelter in a damp, cold cave, the responsibility she carried pressing down on her like the mountain above. Etched into the cave wall, she discovered a strange symbol, hinting at an ancient secret society, its meaning lost to time. The wooden bird from Finn pulsed with a faint, warm glow, a mysterious comfort against the encroaching darkness. Alara drifted into a fitful sleep, dreaming of a shadowy figure guiding her towards the Serpent's Maw, a terrifying premonition that the plague might not be entirely natural. She awoke with a renewed sense of purpose, despite the overwhelming odds. The storm had subsided, revealing a path she hadn't noticed before, veiled by the downpour. A chilling sense of being watched prickled her skin as she continued her journey. In the distance, the silhouette of a fortified city, her ultimate destination, loomed against the horizon. The path ahead was shrouded in an unnatural mist, and from within it, faint, unsettling sounds reached her ears. She realized then that this journey would be far more dangerous than she had ever imagined. The weight of her village's survival pressed down on her, a physical burden. A fleeting vision of Finn, coughing, his little face etched with pain, fueled her determination. She clutched the wooden bird, its smooth surface a tangible link to her motivation. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. The mist thickened, obscuring her vision and heightening her anxiety. The first faint smell of decay, abhorrent and unmistakable, reached her nostrils. She saw a shadowy figure in the distance, watching her from the periphery of the mist, yet it vanished quickly, leaving Ilara unnerved, questioning if she was truly alone. The sun began its slow descent, casting long, eerie shadows that danced like specters. Ilara found a discarded, plague-ridden mask, a stark reminder of the epidemic's gruesome reality. A fleeting thought of turning back, of abandoning this impossible quest flickered in her mind. But Finn's face flashed before her, dispelling the weakness. The mournful cry of a distant, unseen animal echoed through the valley, a haunting lament. Ilara prepared for a cold, dangerous night ahead. She made a small fire, its flickering light offering little solace against the deep sense of vulnerability that enveloped her. The wooden bird pulsed again, a faint, warm light against her palm. A momentary lapse of courage, quickly overcome. She knew retreat was not an option. The fate of Snake River Valley rested solely on her shoulders. The darkness of the night enveloped her completely. She vowed to find the cure, no matter the cost. A new day dawned, bringing both hope and renewed peril. Ilara set out, her determination unwavering, her gaze fixed on the formidable city in the distance. The path became increasingly treacherous, winding through overgrown fields and deserted hamlets, each one a silent monument to the plague's merciless march. She encountered a small group of desperate, fearful refugees huddled by a crumbling stone wall, their faces etched with starvation and despair. They warned her of the city's dangers, of the brutal guards and the sickness that festered within its walls. They spoke of a powerful, corrupt leader, Dominus, who ruled with an iron fist, his decrees absolute. Ilara listened intently, her heart heavy with their plight, yet her focus remained steadfast on her mission. She offered them what little food she had, a meager offering, but a gesture of shared humanity in a world consumed by despair. In return, the refugees, their voices hushed, spoke of a hidden resistance within the city, a glimmer of defiance against Dominus's tyranny. They mentioned a secret symbol, a swirling pattern etched on forgotten alleyways, strikingly similar to the one Ilara had seen in the cave. A chilling realization dawned upon her. These symbols were interconnected, threads of a larger, older tapestry. They spoke of a secret passage into the city, a way to circumvent the heavily guarded gates, but their fear had made them cautious, isolating them from further involvement. Ilara understood their plight, their weary resignation, but she had to press on. She thanked them for their warnings and invaluable information, her resolve hardening with each new piece of the puzzle. She continued her journey, now with a new target in mind, the city's walls looming larger, a formidable barrier against both hope and despair. She saw patrols on the walls, their armor glinting ominously, their weapons stark against the gray sky. The air grew heavy with the stench of sickness, a palpable miasma of decay and fear. She passed more abandoned settlements, each one a fresh wound on the landscape, the silence broken only by the mournful whisper of the wind. A deep sense of loneliness washed over her, a crushing weight that threatened to overwhelm her spirit. She clutched the wooden bird, its smooth surface a familiar comfort, a tangible link to Finn and the life she fought to save. The sun began its slow descent once more, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a fleeting beauty amidst the encroaching darkness. Ilara knew she must reach the city by nightfall, the urgency of her mission intensifying with every fading ray of light. She pushed her aching body forward, her muscles screaming in protest, but the thought of Finn spurred her on. A faint, flickering light in the distance, a beacon in the gloom, ignited a small spark of hope within her. She quickened her pace, driven by that fragile light. The city gates were visible now, heavily guarded, an impenetrable fortress. She had to find that secret passage. The fate of Snake River, of Finn, hung precariously in the balance. Alara, the lone messenger, approached the heart of the plague, her heart pounding with a mixture of dread and grim determination. Under the cloak of deepening twilight, Alara's stealthy infiltration into the plague-stricken city commenced. She moved like a phantom, hugging the shadows, her worn boots barely disturbing the dust on the desolate streets. The full horror of the epidemic unfolded before her eyes. Abandoned market stalls, overturned carts, and the chilling sight of bodies, hastily covered, awaiting collection. Armed guards, their faces grim behind their masks, enforced a brutal quarantine, their presence a constant threat. Alara searched for the resistance symbol, the swirling pattern described by the refugees, her eyes scanning every crumbling wall and darkened doorway. Finally, tucked away in a shadowed alcove, she found it. As she traced its familiar lines, a shadowy figure emerged from the gloom, a grizzled veteran named Kale, his eyes shrewd and wary. He was initially hostile, his hand instinctively going to the hilt of his worn blade. Alara, her voice low and steady, revealed her mission, her desperation echoing in the quiet street. She showed him the wooden bird, a tangible link to her pure motivation, and spoke of the ancient text and the serpent's maw. Kale's wariness slowly dissolved, replaced by a flicker of understanding, then a grudging respect. He explained the oppressive regime of the city's leader, Dominus, a tyrant who hoarded the known antidote, controlling its distribution like a cruel god. The resistance, Kyle revealed, believed Dominus had either engineered or exacerbated the plague, using it as a tool for control. He led Alara through a labyrinth of hidden tunnels and forgotten sewers to their hidden base in the city's underbelly. There, she met other resistance members, their faces grim but their spirits unbroken, all driven by a shared desire for justice. They were skeptical of a cure from the serpent's maw, the notion of such a thing seeming like a fanciful dream in their grim reality. Alara meticulously explained the ancient text and the plant's legendary properties, her conviction slowly chipping away at their doubt. The resistance, she learned, had a plan to expose Dominus, but they lacked the resources, the sheer power to challenge him openly. Alara offered her knowledge of herbalism and the potential cure, a potent bargaining chip. Kyle then revealed a devastating truth. Dominus was once a respected healer, a man of great promise, but his lust for power, born from a personal tragedy, had corrupted him utterly. He now believed that controlling the antidote made him a god, the arbiter of life and death. The resistance had been trying for months to find a way to reach the serpent's maw, to find any counter to Dominus's tyranny. They offered Alara aid, their meager resources now at her disposal, but warned her again of the extreme dangers that awaited her in the mountains. Alara was given a meticulously drawn map of the city's hidden passages and, crucially, a detailed layout of Dominus's formidable fortress. The weight of her task grew heavier, but the path forward, however perilous, was now clearer. Alara's arduous climb into the Serpent's Maw Mountains began under the pale, indifferent gaze of a sliver moon. The mountain range lived up to its ominous name, a jagged, unforgiving landscape that seemed to actively resist any intrusion. Perilous cliffs, slick with unseen ice, tested her every foothold, while freezing temperatures gnawed at her exposed skin. Wild beasts, their eyes glowing in the darkness, occasionally watched her from afar, their low growls a constant reminder of the primal dangers that lurked in this desolate expanse. Her supplies dwindled with each passing hour, the meager rations a stark contrast to the immense energy her body expended. Exhaustion, a heavy cloak, began to settle deep into her bones, threatening to drag her down. Amidst the relentless ascent, Alara stumbled upon ancient ruins hidden deep within the craggy peaks. These were not mere crumbling stones, but the remnants of a forgotten civilization, a people who had once thrived in this harsh environment, dedicating their lives to the study of rare plants and the secrets they held. The air within the ruins was still, charged with the echoes of a distant past. She found more carvings on the weathered walls, intricate and profound, depicting a prophecy of a terrible plague that would sweep the lands, and the emergence of a savior who would brave the mountains to find its cure. The carvings also vividly illustrated a legendary plant, its delicate form rendered with reverence, the serpent's kiss, the very cure she sought. A profound realization washed over her. The ancient text from her village, the one that had guided her on this perilous journey, was merely a fragment, a whisper of this larger, forgotten history. It was a piece of a grander narrative, now slowly revealing itself. As she delved deeper into the ruins, a figure emerged from the shadows, gaunt and weathered, her eyes holding the haunted wisdom of one who had seen too much. It was Lyra, the former resistance leader believed dead or a traitor. Lyra was emaciated, her clothes tattered, and initially hostile, her voice raspy with suspicion. Ilara, sensing the profound weariness in the woman, carefully approached, explaining her mission, and showing her the small, potent sample of the serpent's kiss she had already extracted from a less guarded, smaller patch near the ruins, a mere taste of its power. Lyra's wariness slowly softened, replaced by a flicker of understanding. Lyra, her voice filled with a bitterness born of betrayal, revealed that she hadn't betrayed the resistance. She had been on a similar quest, seeking the cure herself, but had been captured by Dominus's men and left for dead in these unforgiving mountains. Her eyes blazed with renewed purpose as she explained Dominus's true, chilling motive, not merely to control the antidote, but to control life and death itself. Dominus believed the serpent's kiss plant must only be used by him, that its power was his alone to wield. Lyra then revealed the plant's unique, almost sentient properties and its dangerous harvesting method. The true serpent's kiss, the mother plant, was guarded by an ancient venomous creature, a serpent of immense size and power, a living embodiment of the mountain's wrath. Lyra, weakened but resolute, offered to guide Ilara to the plant's primary location. Ilara felt a mix of hope, now a tangible possibility, and renewed fear, knowing the true guardian that awaited them. They embarked on a treacherous path, filled with optical illusions that played tricks on the mind and hidden traps laid by the ancient civilization, designed to protect their sacred knowledge. As they navigated the perilous terrain, Lyra shared her story of heartbreak and loss under Dominus's cruel rule, her voice trembling with raw emotion. Ilara's empathy for Lyra deepened, a bond forged in shared suffering and desperate hope. They soon discovered a hidden chamber, deep within the mountain's heart, pulsing with a faint, ethereal green light. The serpent's kiss plant, vibrant and luminous, grew there, its essence radiating through the cavern. As they approached, the chamber's guardian, a massive serpentine creature, its scales shimmering with ancient magic, slowly awakened, its eyes glowing with predatory awareness. Ilara and Lyra knew they had to work together to distract and subdue it. Ilara, drawing on her extensive herbalist knowledge, quickly fashioned a diversion, using pungent mountain herbs to create a cloud of smoke that disoriented the creature. Lyra, despite her profound weakness, showed surprising agility, darting around the colossal serpent, drawing its attention away from the precious plant. They managed to extract a small but potent sample of the plant, its glowing tendrils now safely nestled in Ilara's satchel. The guardian creature, injured but far from defeated, let out a deafening roar, its fury echoing through the cavern. They narrowly escaped the chamber, the enraged guardian pursuing them relentlessly. Lyra, her strength finally giving out, collapsed from exhaustion and her old festering wounds. Ilara, summoning a surge of adrenaline, used her remaining strength to carry Lyra, her heart pounding with terror and determination. They found a temporary refuge in a hidden crevice, just as the guardian's roars began to fade into the mountain's depths. Ilara, with trembling hands, tended to Lyra's wounds, sharing her last few rations of dried meat and water. In a moment of profound vulnerability, Lyra revealed a shocking detail. Dominus also had a family connection to the prophecy. He believed himself to be the destined plague lord, not a savior. He aimed to use the plague to cleanse the world, leaving only those he deemed worthy to survive. Ilara realized the true, terrifying scale of Dominus's madness. Lyra, her breath shallow, then gave Ilara a small, intricately carved key. This key, she explained, unlocked a hidden vault within Dominus's formidable fortress. The vault, Lyra insisted, contained not only irrefutable evidence of his crimes, but also a larger supply of the antidote he had hoarded. Lyra made Ilara promise to expose Dominus to bring his reign of terror to an end. Ilara, now holding the glowing serpent's kiss and the ancient key, prepared for the perilous return journey. The Guardian's roars, though fainter, still echoed through the mountain, a constant reminder of the danger. They had to move quickly before it found them again. Ilara felt a surge of adrenaline and a renewed, fierce determination. The cure was within her grasp, but the fight was far from over. Lyra, a beacon of hope and resilience, looked at Ilara with unwavering trust, her eyes conveying the immense weight of expectation. The fate of many now rested squarely on Ilara's shoulders. They began their descent, the mountain still a treacherous maze of shadows and echoes. Ilara supported Lyra, their bond forged in the crucible of peril. The serpent's kiss pulsed with a faint warm light in Ilara's satchel, a tangible symbol of their hard-won hope. A new sense of purpose, clearer and more urgent than ever, drove Ilara forward. She had to get back to the city, to her village, to Finn. The path back was just as dangerous as the path in, perhaps even more so with the added burden of Lyra's weakness and the mountain's wrath. They encountered another rock slide, a terrifying close call that sent their hearts racing. Lyra's strength waned further, but her spirit, though fragile, remained unbroken. Ilara encouraged her, reminding her of the resistance, of the waiting city, of the justice they sought. Then, through a break in the clouds, they saw a distant flickering light, a sign of hope, a beacon in the encroaching darkness. The city lights. They were closer to their goal, but not safe yet. The Guardian's roars finally grew faint enough to be dismissed as mere echoes of the wind. Lyra, remembering a hidden path known only to a few, directed Ilara. This path, she assured her, would lead them directly back to the city, bypassing many of Dominus's patrols. Ilara felt a renewed surge of energy, her body burning with determination. The cure for the plague and justice awaited. Ilara and Lyra's perilous journey back to the city was fraught with immediate danger. Dominus's patrols, alerted to their presence by the Guardian's roars or perhaps by a spy within the resistance, were already scouring the lower mountain slopes. They moved with desperate urgency, Lyra leaning heavily on Ilara, her every step a testament to sheer will. Lyra's condition worsened with each passing hour. The exertion and the mountain's harshness had reopened old wounds, leaving crimson streaks on her tattered clothes. Ilara, her heart heavy, quickly extracted a minuscule amount of the serpent's kiss essence and administered it to Lyra. It was a temporary measure, a powerful palliative that dulled the pain and stemmed the bleeding. But it was not a cure for her profound exhaustion and physical trauma. They finally reached the city's outskirts under the cloak of pre-dawn darkness, both exhausted and battered, but alive. Kyle, leading a small, anxious group of resistance fighters, met them at a prearranged rendezvous point near a crumbling section of the outer wall. Relief washed over their faces, quickly turning to shock and disbelief as they recognized Lyra. Many had believed her dead, or worse, a traitor who had abandoned them. Lyra, her voice hoarse but firm, revealed the harrowing truth of her capture, her abandonment, and Dominus's insidious deception. Her story, combined with the visible evidence of the serpent's kiss Ilara carried, reignited a powerful spark within the resistance. Their spirits, long dimmed by despair, were visibly lifted by Lyra's miraculous return and the tangible promise of a cure. Ilara, her own weariness momentarily forgotten, explained the nature of the serpent's kiss and its limited quantity. They quickly decided that the plant's precious essence would be used to create a larger, more accessible supply of antidote, a beacon of hope for the ravaged city. It was then that Kale, his face grim, delivered the devastating news. Finn's condition had severely deteriorated, his small body succumbing rapidly to the plague's relentless grip. A wave of crushing guilt and desperate urgency washed over Ilara, threatening to drown her. Her brother, her primary motivation, was fading while she had been away. This heartbreaking news cemented their resolve. They quickly formulated a daring plan to infiltrate Dominus's fortress, expose his crimes, and seize the hoarded antidote. Lyra, despite her profound weakness, insisted on being an integral part of the plan. Her intimate knowledge of the fortress, its hidden passages, and its structural weaknesses proved invaluable. She meticulously detailed its layout, revealing blind spots and patrol routes. The resistance, now reinvigorated and united, prepared for a dangerous, decisive strike, their eyes burning with a fierce determination for justice. Ilara, with trembling hands and focused intent, used her herbalist skills to carefully extract the serpent's kiss essence. The process was delicate, requiring absolute precision and time she barely had, but her experience guided her. From the extracted essence, she created a small, potent vial, a concentrated dose specifically for Finn. Meanwhile, the resistance orchestrated a diversion, a series of calculated skirmishes and fires in a distant sector of the city, successfully drawing Dominus's guards away from the fortress's main gates. Under the cover of this chaos, Ilara, Kale, and Lyra infiltrated the fortress through a hidden tunnel Lyra had known from her past. They immediately encountered heavy resistance, engaging in fierce, close-quarters skirmishes with Dominus's elite guards. Lyra's intimate knowledge of the fortress proved invaluable, guiding them through twisting corridors and secret passages, often anticipating traps before they sprung. Kyle, a seasoned fighter, became Ilara's shield, protecting her with brutal efficiency as she clutched the precious vial and the key. They finally reached what they believed to be Dominus's private chambers, only to find them empty. Their search led them to a hidden laboratory, a chilling tableau of scientific depravity. The room was filled with mutated plague samples, grotesque specimens that confirmed their darkest fears. Dominus had not only hoarded the antidote, but he had actively experimented with the plague, making it more virulent, more deadly. The sheer evil of his actions sent a shiver down Ilara's spine. With a grim resolve, Ilara used Lyra's intricately carved key to unlock a secret vault hidden behind a clever mechanism in the laboratory. Inside, they found it. A massive supply of the antidote, dozens of vials hoarded by Dominus while his city suffered and died. They also discovered Dominus's personal journal, its pages filled with his elegant yet twisted script. His entries revealed a chilling narrative of a deep-seated desire for absolute control, a messianic complex that saw him as the architect of a new world order. He truly believed the plague was a tool for cleansing, for shaping humanity to his will. A sudden, piercing alarm blared through the fortress, signaling their discovery. Dominus's elite guard, having quickly discerned the true target, surrounded them, their numbers overwhelming. A desperate fight ensued, the resistance fighters gravely outnumbered. Lyra, drawing on her last reserves of strength, her eyes locking with Ilara's, made a choice. With a guttural cry, she sacrificed herself, lunging at the guards, creating a vital opening for Ilara and Kale to escape with the antidote and the journal. Ilara was devastated. A cry caught in her throat as she witnessed Lyra's final selfless act. But her grief was quickly transmuted into a searing resolve to honor that sacrifice. Kale, his face a mask of heartbreak but his determination unyielding, grabbed Ilara's arm, pulling her through the chaos. They fought their way through the fortress, the sounds of battle and the screams of the dying echoing around them. They managed to escape, but the fortress was now on high alert. A hornet's nest stirred. Ilara clutched the antidote and Dominus's journal, their weight a crushing burden and a burning promise. The price of hope was undeniably high, but the fight, she knew, was far from over. They met up with the remaining resistance fighters outside the fortress walls, their faces grim but their resolve hardened. The news of Lyra's sacrifice galvanized them, turning their grief into a potent, unified fury. They prepared for a final, decisive confrontation with Dominus. Ilara knew she had to expose him to the world, to tear down his carefully constructed facade. The antidote was now a symbol of their defiance, and the journal, the irrefutable evidence of his monstrous crimes. The fate of the city, and indeed her own beloved village, rested solely on her shoulders. The battle for justice was about to begin. Ilara and Kale, their hearts heavy with Lyra's sacrifice, rallied the resistance. The raw grief of their loss was a potent fuel, transforming sorrow into unyielding determination. They wasted no time, immediately distributing the precious, hoarded antidote to the desperate citizens who had suffered under Dominus's cruel reign. Word spread like wildfire through the city's ravaged districts as the resistance fighters, emboldened by the truth contained within Dominus's journal, publicly exposed his monstrous crimes. The meticulously documented evidence, coupled with the sudden availability of the cure, ignited a furious public outrage against Dominus. The populace, long suppressed by fear, finally found their voice. A collective roar that shook the very foundations of the fortified city. Dominus, isolated and enraged by this unforeseen uprising, unleashed his remaining loyal forces. The city, already a crucible of suffering, erupted into a full-scale rebellion. The streets became a battlefield, but this time, the citizens fought not just for survival but for justice. Ilara, with Kyle steadfastly by her side, led the charge, her presence a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. She moved tirelessly through the throngs, administering the antidote, bringing not just healing to the sick, but a renewed sense of purpose and defiance. The sight of her, a young herbalist restoring life with her own hands, inspired countless others to join the fight. Slowly, inexorably, the tide of the battle began to turn in favor of the resistance. The climax arrived in the city's sprawling main square, a place once used for Dominus's triumphal pronouncements, now a scene of desperate struggle. Ilara, her eyes blazing with righteous anger and grief for Lyra, confronted Dominus. He stood defiant, surrounded by his retreating guard, his face a mask of furious desperation. He still attempted to justify his heinous actions, proclaiming himself a visionary, a savior destined to reshape the world. But his words rang hollow against the backdrop of suffering he had wrought. In a shocking twist, one that sent a cold shiver down Ilara's spine, Dominus revealed a deeper, more insidious connection to her family. He sneered, his voice dripping with venom, confessing that he had once been the apprentice of Ilara's own grandmother, a woman renowned throughout the lands for her unparalleled healing abilities. He had coveted her knowledge, believing it was his birthright to control, a power he felt entitled to wield. He blamed Ilara's grandmother for a personal tragedy, a perceived slight that had twisted his mind and fueled his corruption. With chilling clarity, he confessed that he had purposely engineered the plague, not as a natural disaster but as a deliberate tool to gain ultimate power, to cleanse the world of those he deemed unworthy. Ilara was horrified, the betrayal cutting deeper than any wound, the depth of his depravity a sickening revelation. As Dominus launched a desperate, final assault, unleashing his remaining guards, Ilara instinctively used her herbalist knowledge, not just for healing, but for tactical advantage, countering his desperate tactics with surprising agility and wit. Kale, a whirlwind of furious protection, fought tirelessly to shield Ilara, his blade a blur against Dominus's elite forces. The battle was fierce, intensely personal, and emotionally charged, a clash of ideologies and a settling of old scores. Finally, Ilara cornered Dominus, his power crumbling around him like a sandcastle in a storm. His once imposing presence was reduced to that of a cornered animal. She offered him a final chance at redemption, a path to confess his crimes and atone for his sins even in defeat. But Dominus, utterly consumed by his madness and pride, refused, attempting one last desperate, futile attack. Ilara, drawing upon the wisdom and skills taught by her grandmother, moved with precision, disarming him with a swift, decisive motion. A collective roar erupted from the citizens, witnessing their oppressor's defeat. Cheers of newfound freedom echoed through the square as Dominus was finally captured, his reign of terror brought to a resounding end. As the antidote spread through the populace, the plague began its slow, inevitable retreat. Ilara, utterly exhausted but undeniably victorious, looked out at the healing city. a wave of profound relief washing over her. The cost of this victory weighed heavily, especially the memory of Lyra's selfless sacrifice. Her thoughts, however, inexorably turned to Finn, her original motivation, the small, frail boy whose illness had set her on this perilous path. The long journey back to Snake River Valley still awaited her. Cale, standing beside her, pledged his unwavering commitment to rebuilding the city and establishing a just society, free from the shadows of tyranny. Ilara, though hailed as a hero, remained humble, knowing her work was far from complete. The city, scarred but resilient, began to heal, both physically and emotionally. The sun, finally free from the pall of the plague, set on a new era for the city, an era born of struggle and sacrifice. Ilara prepared for her return, carrying the hope of many, a quiet triumph in her heart. The resistance celebrated their hard-won victory, a symphony of relief and sorrow. The memory of Lyra's sacrifice would forever be etched into her soul, a constant reminder of the price of freedom. She looked at the wooden bird, a tangible link to Finn, a symbol of unwavering love. Her arduous journey had forged her into a true leader, capable of facing any challenge. The path ahead was clear, yet still fraught with the challenges of rebuilding. She knew healing took time, for both the city and for herself. Ilara's journey back to Snake River Valley, carrying the precious cure, was marked by a different kind of intensity than her outbound trek. She was no longer alone, accompanied by Cale and a small, vigilant escort of resistance fighters, ensuring her safety for the final leg. The path itself was less perilous, the immediate threats of Dominus's forces having receded with his defeat, but the emotional weight remained heavy. Each step was a quiet contemplation of the sacrifices made, the horrors witnessed, and the profound transformation she had undergone. Lyra's face, etched in her memory, served as a constant, poignant reminder of the ultimate cost of their victory. Finally, the familiar, weathered gates of Snake River Valley appeared in the distance, a sight that brought a complex rush of relief and trepidation. They were met by a gathering of anxious, gaunt faces, the toll of the plague starkly visible even from afar. The villagers, weakened and weary, erupted in a collective gasp of joy and disbelief as they recognized Ilara. Old man Tiber, his eyes brimming with tears, pushed through the crowd and embraced her, his frail frame trembling with emotion. It was a moment of profound shared catharsis, a release of months of fear and despair. Without a moment's hesitation, Ilara rushed to Finn's side. He lay pale and still, his breathing shallow, his small wooden bird clutched loosely in his hand. With trembling fingers, she administered the precious antidote, a single drop that carried the weight of her entire perilous journey. A tense, agonizing silence descended upon the small, crowded room. The entire village watched, their collective hope hanging precariously in the balance, a fragile thread connecting them all. Minutes stretched into an eternity. Then a faint flicker in Finn's eyelids, a shallow cough, and slowly, his eyes fluttered open. Weak but lucid, he saw Ilara's face, a faint smile gracing his lips as he recognized his sister. It was a heartfelt reunion, a silent promise of healing and a future reclaimed. Ilara then moved through the village, sharing the antidote with every afflicted soul. The healing process, slow and arduous, began for Snake River Valley. As the immediate crisis subsided, Ilara recounted her extraordinary journey, detailing the brutal oppression under Dominus, the fierce bravery of the resistance, and the tyrant's eventual, ignominious defeat. The villagers listened, horrified by the depth of Dominus's betrayal, yet overwhelmingly grateful for Ilara's unwavering courage and sacrifice. Cale, standing beside her, explained the new, just order emerging in the city and pledged the city's aid in their recovery, solidifying a nascent alliance between the two communities. Under Ilara's careful supervision, utilizing her extensive herbalist skills, the village slowly, painstakingly, began its recovery. She moved among her people, offering not just medicine but comfort and guidance, her presence a steady anchor in their turbulent return to health. In quiet moments she mourned Lyra, a silent, personal tribute to the woman who had given everything. Gradually, the village regained its strength and vitality. Finn, his bright eyes once again full of mischief, recovered fully, strong enough to chase butterflies and play games, a living testament to Ilara's triumph. Watching her village thrive once more, Ilara found a profound, deep-seated peace. Her journey had changed her profoundly. She was no longer merely an herbalist, but a leader, a savior, her resolve tempered by fire and sorrow. The bond between Ilara and Kale deepened into a mutual respect, forged in the crucible of battle and shared purpose. Kale, recognizing her extraordinary capabilities, offered Ilara a significant place in the new city's leadership, a proposition that stirred a complex mix of emotions within her. She found herself considering her future, torn between her beloved village and the wider world that now called to her, feeling a responsibility to both. The small wooden bird, worn smooth from countless touches, remained with her, a constant, tangible symbol of Finn's love and her initial desperate motivation. She walked through the revitalized village, seeing hope reflected in every face, in every recovering sapling. The whispers of doom that had once haunted the valley had been replaced by the joyous, tentative songs of healing and regrowth. The sun, finally unburdened by the pall of sickness, shone brightly on Snake River Valley, illuminating a path forward. Ilara knew that the scars of the plague would forever remain, etched into the memories of her people. But so too would their resilience, their indomitable spirit, and the enduring strength of their community. In a symbolic gesture of renewed life and enduring hope, she carefully planted a sapling of the serpent's kiss in the heart of the village square. The villagers gathered around, a silent promise of a better, healthier future passing between them. Ilara felt a profound sense of accomplishment, acknowledging that while the arduous journey had ended, her new life, a life of continued purpose and leadership, had just begun. Time, a relentless river, flowed onward, and with its passage, both the bustling city and the serene Snake River Valley flourished. The wounds of the plague, though deep, began to mend, replaced by the steady pulse of recovery and growth. Ilara, with her innate wisdom and newfound authority, established a groundbreaking system for medicine distribution and research, ensuring that no community would ever again face such an existential threat alone. She had become far more than an herbalist. She was a respected leader, a vital bridge between disparate communities, fostering unity where once there had been only isolation and fear. The serpent's kiss plant, once a mythical cure found only in treacherous mountains, was now carefully cultivated in both the city's greenhouses and the valley's fertile soil, ensuring a lasting and accessible remedy for all. Its vibrant green leaves, once a symbol of desperate hope, now represented enduring health and the triumph of collaboration. Finn, fully recovered and brimming with youthful energy, had embraced his sister's legacy, becoming her devoted apprentice. His hands, once frail with sickness, now moved with deft precision among the herbs, learning the ancient ways of healing under Ilara's patient guidance. In the city, Kale, with his unwavering integrity and battle-hardened resolve, led the new council. Together they forged a society dedicated to justice, equality, and the eradication of the systemic corruption that had allowed Dominus's tyranny to fester. The legacy of Lyra and the other fallen heroes was meticulously honored, their sacrifices woven into the very fabric of the new city's ethos, ensuring they would never be forgotten. Dominus himself remained imprisoned, his power stripped away, a broken man whose grand delusions had crumbled into dust. He served as a potent, cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the corrupting influence of unchecked ambition. Ilara, ever the tireless advocate, regularly traveled between the bustling metropolis and her tranquil valley, her presence a constant affirmation of the unity she had helped forge. She dedicated every waking hour to not just healing the present, but preventing future plagues, her research delving deeper into the delicate balance of nature and humanity. The ancient symbols of protection and healing, once hidden in caves and ruins, were rediscovered and revered, their significance understood anew as guardians of collective well-being. Despite the accolades and the profound impact she had made, Ilara remained remarkably humble, her feet firmly planted on the earth of her valley. Yet she carried within her the immense wisdom gleaned from her perilous journey, a quiet strength that resonated in every decision she made. In time, amidst the peace she had helped create, she found love and companionship, rebuilding a personal life that had once been consumed by her mission. She learned that even saviors deserved solace, that heroes too needed a gentle hand to hold. The story culminated with Ilara sitting by the magnificent serpent's kiss tree in the heart of her village square, its branches now broad and sheltering. Finn, no longer a boy but a capable young man, worked diligently beside her, his movements mirroring her own, a testament to the continuity of their purpose. She reflected on the incredible power of hope, the unwavering strength of courage, and the unbreakable bonds of community that had transformed despair into salvation. The world, she knew, was still imperfect, still fraught with challenges, but a new dawn had truly arrived, bathed in the soft golden light of possibility. The plague runner, once burdened by overwhelming fear and the weight of an entire valley, was now a beacon of light, her spirit unyielding, her vision clear. The small wooden bird, now old and smooth from countless touches, rested on her workbench, a cherished relic. It was a constant, gentle reminder of where she came from, of Finn's love, and of the profound reasons why she had fought so fiercely. Ilara looked out at the peaceful valley, a vibrant tapestry of life and growth, a living testament to her extraordinary strength and resilience. The whispers of doom were long gone, replaced by the harmonious sounds of life, children's laughter, the rustle of leaves, the gentle murmur of healing waters. Her story, a tale of a simple herbalist who saved her world, became a legend, whispered by generations to come, an enduring testament to the triumph of good over evil. The final shot lingered on the flourishing serpent's kiss tree, its leaves shimmering, a powerful symbol of enduring peace and the boundless resilience of the human spirit.